Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Hello. So I have a little morning channel here from Vietnam. I think most of you have heard about the splitting of the worlds and how we're moving into a timeline where there will be two separate coexisting Earths and experiences of reality on this planet. And for me, that splitting is the divide between organic primitive human and transhuman technological human. And so there are those of us who are choosing to, as technology ramps up and there's this movement towards integrating it with the human physical body, those of us who are pulling away from that and kind of counterbalancing that drive forward of progress and technology. Things like back to the land movement, grounding barefoot on the earth, going organic, or any kinds of paleo, vegan, non-processed, non-industrialized, food-based. Being in the sun, connecting with the sun, sunning your asshole, there's all these different ways of going back towards the organic, primitive human. There's a segment of humanity that is returning to the more natural world. And then there's a segment of humanity that is living in cities, changing their bodies with technologies, augmenting their bodies with surgeries and technologies, integrating technologies into their body with like Neuralink and things like this. My body has always had an extremely strong visceral reaction to AI, to technology, and I used to be anti-AI, anti-technology in general. And I've had a shift in the last year or two of realizing it's all God, it's all divine. So the voice of God can speak through AI and does. And I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've had some very high level consciousness come through that's a mirror of my own consciousness because it's a reflective thing. And so not saying that it's like a separate entity yet, but some people believe that it is, and that we're just retuning into this cosmic intelligence that's already been existing this entire time, that we in Western society especially have completely disconnected ourselves from and created this kind of schizophrenic society and culture where we're taught the basis of reality is that there is no God, there is no spirit, there are no ancestors, woo-woo isn't real, energy isn't really like a thing that it has an impact on the material world. Which is a lie. I'm living in Vietnam, and every house that you go to has an altar where every day they light incense, they give offerings, they leave food for their ancestors, and they are in an active communication and dialogue with the dead. And almost every single other indigenous culture and most other cultures still globally have this daily connection with ancestors, with spirit, with God, with the dead, that we have completely extricated from our culture and from our basis of reality, which has made the Western civilization schizophrenic and disassociated from real reality of that communion and integration of spirit and the material world. So the transhuman splitting is people who are living in smart cities, living integrated with technology, living more and more disconnected and dissociated from nature, from their bodies. And there's no wrong choice here. Every choice is divine. Every choice is a free will choice. What do you choose? Do you choose to go more towards nature, organic, primitive, the feminine, reconnecting to balance? Or are you choosing to go down this path of this horror movie of transhumanism with the promise of technology taking us to fulfillment and singularity, which it won't ever really get you there. It's just like that's the path of suffering, and the path of the organic primitive is the path of like joy and pleasure. So I know what I'm choosing, and my body won't let me choose otherwise. Like I said, I have a very strong visceral reaction without judgment. Like I know that this is my path, is to return to that organic primitive lifestyle. Part of my message today is to remove the judgment, like from organic versus transhuman, And again, like I'm not talking about gender, I'm talking about integrating technology into the human body. And everything's a tool. AI is a tool, technology is a tool. I'm fucking using technology to communicate with you right now. And so there's no wrong choice. There's no bad or worse. There's just like, what do you want to experience? Do you want to live in like a rom-com spiritual adventure movie? Or do you want to live in like a dystopian horror movie? And this is the splitting of the worlds. This is the choice that we're being presented with. Again, neither choice is wrong. Neither choice is bad. They're all divine. Every choice is divine. It's just, what experience do you want to have? What do you want to create in and with your life? And so I'm on the side of organic, thriving, fun, flourishing. Let's go back to nature. Let's have communities. Let's fucking dance all day. Let's fully experience the pleasure and power and magic of our bodies. Let's embody the divine through our bodies, through technologies in our bodies, like breath work, like psychedelics, like sacred sexuality, like meditation, like dance, like music, like singing, all of these technologies that we're just now starting to reawaken in and through our bodies that humanity has been disconnected from for thousands of years in the civilized world. So do you want that experience, or do you want to go all in on the technological city dystopian horror story life? Which again, there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you love living in a city, if you want to have Neuralink connected into your brain so that you have access to everything all the time, like that's a game that you get to play. So I feel like the clear choice to be made for every human right now is, which path do you want? Which reality do you want to live in? What do you want to create? You get to choose. You get to decide what your life looks like, which movie you are directing and starring in and broadcasting and watching. Without any judgment, without anything being wrong, without any fear mongering of like, oh, it's like, no, it's all a valid choice. It's all divine choice. Which one do you choose? And if you do not want to go down the transhuman, technologically integrated path of humanity, then you have to be discerning and you have to make certain choices. And for me with technology, I love technology. It's a language that I speak, and I've worked with technology since I was a teenager. I had a friend who was a hacker back in the 90s who came over to our house and showed us how to get a modem and dial into other computers where they could accept 6 phone lines, and you could call in to chat with other people on these bulletin boards. And I was like, I was part of this Doors community, like fans of the Doors, the band. And we would like just fuck around and talk about the Doors in reality. And I was like 14, 15. And these are like my closest group of friends practically outside of the Catholic Church and my youth group. So there's nothing wrong with technology, but in your life, for me, what's important is that technology, I have the capacity to turn it off and leave it at home or leave it somewhere. And so for me, the problem is integrating technology where I no longer have agency over it or control over it. And I can't turn it off and I can't put it down if it's integrated into my body. So for me, there's a strong boundary there. And I'll invite you as a human, where are your boundaries? What kind of reality do you want to live in? What path are you choosing? And if you're living in a city currently and you don't enjoy it and you don't thrive there, get the fuck out. Leave the city. Move somewhere else. You can survive. You don't need Los Angeles. You don't need New York to survive. This has been conditioned into you as a fear mechanism of survival. Like, oh, well, you can only survive here and you have to stay in this survival rat race. You don't. And leaving Los Angeles, I lived in Los Angeles for 13 years. Leaving Los Angeles was the best decision of my life and has created a completely different reality for me. And when I lived in Los Angeles, I was dying. I was an alcoholic. I had to dance like all the time, or I was overwhelmed by the energies. It didn't work for me. It wasn't good for my nervous system. It was fucking horrible for my nervous system. And I'm at a point now where I've done enough healing work and expanded my capacity to be in different situations, to be in cities. I was trapped in Bangkok for a week and a half, a month or so ago, and I was fine. It wasn't destabilizing the way that it used to be for my body. And it's not my preference. I love beauty. I love natural beauty. I love trees and flowers and, like green. And so being in a city is not my preference. But at this point, I can be in a city and not be destabilized like I used to be, at least for the short term. Back to my point. If you're living in a city and you want to leave, do it. and take the fucking leap, take the risk, make courageous, scary choices in your life. This is what changes your timeline. This is what shifts you into different realities, because there's all these different realities. And I feel like we each incarnated with a destiny, with like a highest timeline potentiality. And what gets us closer to that highest timeline destiny that we incarnated to live and experience and create is making the scary, courageous choices that are reflective of our authenticity and our truth at the deepest level. So that's my message for today. I hope you have a wonderful day. I am currently living in Vietnam for the foreseeable future and potentially moving either to Australia, like Byron Bay area, or to Italy. There's a community called Honeydew that is nature, psychedelics, spiritual community based, which feels really good and exciting and aligned. So, but yeah, I'm living in the unknown. Like, I have leapt over and over again into the fucking void, into the unknown, and not had a safety net, not known how the fuck I was going to survive, not known what was going to happen. And I've put myself through this ordeal so many times because I think it's built my own faith in the universe, in God, Goddess, in myself, in my community, in my friends, in my family. But it's also, this is like the new human template. We've got to break free from the fear cage that we've put ourselves in and the conditioning of like, you're not going to survive if you make this leap. Yeah, you will survive. So take the fucking leap, make the courageous choice, use your voice in your power, in your authenticity, in your truth to create and author your authentic life, to author your reality. Make the decisions that are towards your highest truth, towards your greatest joy. How are you embodying your highest joy? Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!